Just give us a second to figure out the connections.
I'm here live from the SRT.
Thank you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need to do something to make this the main screen? No, it's all, you can see me.
We can see you, yes.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone to the SRT, the Sardinia Radio Telescope. I'm Delphine Perrodin. I'm a researcher at the Cagliari Observatory. And so I'm at the SRT site right now. The only thing is that obviously we don't have Wi-Fi here because it's a radio telescope. And so I can't just go outside and show you around with my laptop. I don't know if this is going to work, but let me show you around. This is the control room. Here I'm at the control room of SRT. And then behind here we have the machines in a shielded room. And these are, just a bunch of computers on desks. If I go look outside, can you see the telescope? Okay. Can you see the telescope? Yes. So this is SRT right here, 70 meters high and 64 meters in diameter. So today's not a very nice day. It was raining and storming earlier, just like in Cagliari. So what I'm going to do is start because I can't show you much with my laptop and I can't walk around the building. I'm going to show you a virtual tour because we have a site and lots of pictures that were taken, and this will be a lot easier to show you the site. So let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see yes, you can see that. Oops. Okay, so this is sorry for the technical issues here. I can zoom in. So here's the SRT site. So SRT is a 64-meter dish. Like I said, it's 70 meters tall. If you look at the foundation down below, there's 6 meters below the ground of foundation. And the structure was completed in 2012, and the telescope was inaugurated in 2013. Let me show you the site a little bit here. You see let me zoom out. By the way, this is a website that you can have access to after this, and you can look at all the details. And over here, you have Cagliari in the distance. It's just 35 kilometers away. And there was 35 kilometers of optical fiber that connects Cagliari to the site. And here you have the telescope. Here you have the buildings, and all the machines are in the main buildings, and they're connected by optical fiber from the telescope to the machines. Let me look at a different view. So here you can see the telescope a little bit better. Let me zoom in a bit. And what's really interesting about this telescope, it's a single dish telescope, and it's part of the VLBI, and it's connected to other telescopes, but it's also interesting because it can operate at high radio frequencies. And this is because it has an active surface where the surface can be shaped. And this is extremely important for high radio frequencies. And we have 1,000 panels on the surface of the parabola, and actuators that move these panels accordingly. And this is the only one in Europe outside from the Noto telescope in Sicily, and it follows the Green Bank telescope technology. So here you can see the buildings. Here we have the electrical cabin. We have the visitors center. These buildings were completed just a few years ago. Here we have the control room where I am located. Right next to it, there's the control room for the Italian Space Agency. Here we have a nice room where we have nice windows to admire the telescope and a foosball table. Next, we have the kitchen, offices, laboratories, and over here, we have the guest house. So if you're coming to observe and at night, you can take the little bridge and get some rest. So this is the site. Now moving in, so we can see different views here from down below. And this is from up above. And this is a bit like walking on the moon. It's a really nice site when it's clear blue skies. And what you have here is so the primary mirror and the secondary mirror up top, which is also the prime focus. And we have different receivers because we want to cover a really wide range of radio frequencies. And so we have radio receivers here at the prime focus. We have other receivers at the Gregorian focus, which is here. And then we have some in the beamwave guide, which is down below. So in the prime focus here, we have, so let me zoom in a bit. Here we have a white box, and that's the L and P band dual band receiver. At P band is from 300 to 400 megahertz, and L band is from 1.3 to 1.8 gigahertz. And they can operate simultaneously, P and L band. So that's also one thing that makes the SRT unique, is that it can do L and P band simultaneous observations. That's particularly relevant to pulsar observing. And right next to it, the black box, is the S band receiver, which was being tested. That's from 3 to 4.5 gigahertz. So these are the receivers at the prime focus. And you can see that there's an arm here that can move them around and put them in focus and out of focus when we're using the out of focus for when we're using the different receivers down below. So if you're looking down, now we're going down under the surface, and this is what you'll find. It's right under the dish right here. And this machine here is the K-band receiver. It goes from 18 to 26 gigahertz. It's currently our highest frequency receiver. And it's a multi-beam receiver. And the interesting thing is that on this platform, at this level, at the Gregorian level, we'll have other receivers. The SRT received a 19 million euro grant to build high radio frequency receivers. And the telescope is currently starting its upgrade. It's a very major upgrade. So there will be a coverage from 300 megahertz all the way up to 116 gigahertz, so well into the millimeter range. And right now we're going from 300 megahertz to 26 gigahertz, but we'll be covering the other frequencies. So first with a Q-band receiver, which goes from 33 to 50 gigahertz, which will be on this platform. And it has 19 beams. It's great for continuum studies as well as spectropolarimetry. We'll also have a W-band receiver, which goes from 70 to 116 gigahertz, and it's great for polarimetry studies or complex organic molecules studies. And then we also have a bolometric millimeter camera, which has a very wide field of view. So there's going to be 3 new receivers in there. And then we also have the triple band receiver, which is actually the combination of the K band, which is the one we already have, the Q band and the W band. And we'll be able to operate them simultaneously. And the interesting thing is that they'll be installed at the Noto and Medicina receivers, the other 2 radio telescopes in Italy. So we'll be able to do an Italian VLBI at these very high radio frequencies. There will also be a C-low receiver, which goes around 4 to 5 gigahertz on this platform. So if we go down below, we see secondary mirrors that get the radio signal down to the beamwave guide, which is another focus. And this is where we'll find a couple of receivers. So first off, so this is the room right below where we were before. This is over here. I can zoom in a little bit. This is the X-band receiver. And this is actually not an ENAF receiver. This is the Italian Space Agency's receiver, which they use for monitoring interplanetary space probes, It's also part, SRT with this receiver and with the P-band receiver is also part of the Deep Space Network, NASA's Deep Space Network. The Italian Space Agency actually has 20% of the time of the telescope. And with this, and in 2018, we did the tracking of Cassini's crash into Saturn, so using this telescope. If you go around, there's another receiver, which is down over here. You can't see it from this picture. It's the C-band receiver. It's around 6 and 7 gigahertz. It's the C-high receiver. We also have a couple backhands, backhand instruments in this room, but most of the backhand instruments are in the main building. We have compressors. Here are the main buildings again, with a control room over here. Nice foosball table. And this is the control room where I am right now. These are the machines. This is in the shielded room, which is right behind me. And you'll see a lot of different machines. We have DFB, Roach 1, Roach 2s, we have Scarabs, we have a lot of VLBI machines, a lot of different machines that still have to arrive as well. So that's the end of the virtual tour. I hope you like it. This is very SRT. I wanted to add that SRT is very relevant to this conference because it's also being used by Elise Grand and her team to monitor giant flares of microquasars like Cygnus X1 and Cygnus X3. So this is it for me. I don't know if you have any questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you so much. Sarah, do you want to take over moderating questions?
Sure. Okay.
I can yours.
I'll chair myself and I'll ask my question. No, I just wondering. Sorry, I'll put my video on. Thank you so much for the tour. Maybe I missed it, but what science is driving the extension up to, what did you say, 116 gigahertz? Especially the millimeter.
So at the Q band, which is the W band, which goes up until 116 gigahertz, it's good for polarimetric studies. So they're talking about complex organic molecules in the galaxy or extragalactic. So that's one of the aims of the W band. For Q band, which is a bit lower, like I said, there's continuum, there's a spectra polarimetry. So it's good for spectroscopic studies. More specifically, I'm not
okay.
I'm not sure.
And is there a TOO mode? I forgot if I'm sure people here would be interested in hearing about that.
Oh yeah, we've done targets of opportunity so far. We've done it for the receivers we currently have, which are LMP band, C band, and K band. And we have regular proposals, then we have TOs, we have targets of opportunities, we have director's time. So yes, I think that once we get all the instruments in place, I mean, right now the telescope is not functioning, but once we get all the instruments in place and it start again, I'm sure there will be room for TOs and there will be dynamic scheduling. And especially because of obviously at high radio frequencies, the weather can be a problem. So dynamic scheduling will be in place to get all these observations in. But yeah, for sure there will be TOs.
And I see Rob has his hand up.
Yeah, Delphine, thanks very much for that virtual tour of the SRT. It's a beautiful telescope. The upgrade to the high frequencies is very exciting as well. I wanted to get an idea of what fraction of your time you spend in VLBI operations, and when you're not in VLBI operations, what are the main targets of the telescope? What does the telescope basically spend most of its time doing currently, or when it's back in operation?
Well, currently it's biased based on the receivers we currently have. But there's a big session in 3 sessions a year of VLBI in which we're very, very busy. I'm not sure how much of the time that's it, but that's the international VLBI. So the three main sessions each year. And then there are different proposals to do Italian VLBI, which actually includes what Elise has done with the microquasars using the other Italian radio telescopes. I'm not sure I can tell you a percentage of that. Obviously, at the high radio frequencies, this will be mostly Italian VLBI. I'm not sure what percent. The single dish observations are, there's a lot of pulsar observations because at the lower frequencies, L and P bands, it's really good for pulsars. And we also have a little bit of we have imaging, of course, continuum. We have a bit of spectroscopy. I think there's maybe in the Slack channel, I could write the link to all the proposals that were accepted in the last couple of years so that you have an idea. Would that be a good idea? So you, instead of inventing things, I'll just give you the link so you have an idea of what has been done at SRT. And of course, now we'll have new proposals coming in for the different frequencies, and we're open to new science.
Thank you very much, Delphine. Perhaps I can add also that we observe a lot of supernova remnants, also the sun at radio frequency for the space weather. And so we have several kind of programs. But as said, Delphine on Slack, we can show you different kind of program we do with SRT.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Delphine. And I think then I don't see any other questions at the moment. So then maybe we shall thank Delphine, everybody, and let's move on